Hey there, Aries. So feels like things are raising in terms of pressure right now. There's lots and lots of different energetics playing out. And we are here again, once again, at the time of the new moon. And I'm going to take you on a little journey from new moon to full moon from the 25th of June right the way through to the 10th of July. Now, in this 2-week period, Uranus is changing signs for the first time in 7 years or so, well, since 2018. So this is a big change. This will be the third of the 3 outer planets changing signs within 9 months of each other. I mean, this is actually 8 months of each other. This is huge. I can't remember a time in our history when this has happened. And they're all going to be in positive signs, i.e. they're all going to be in either air signs or fire signs. When you also add in the fact that both Jupiter and Saturn have also changed signs recently, that this is literally the last placement. This is the last outer planet moving. This is finishing off the series that was started back in November with Pluto's move into Aquarius. What an important time, and what a lot of change has occurred since November. And so what I want to do in this 15-minute forecast is take you on the journey of these 2 weeks and really help you see how the new moon and the full moon are going to be working together to help you on your journey. So there's a lot of really strong themes here. The new moon has this kind of rage to agency feel. There's a lot of really strong emotions coming up around that time. There's 2 great big Yods pointing at Mars and Pluto. Mars is obviously your ruling planet. And then as we get closer and closer and closer to the full moon in Capricorn, the energies as I see them is, they're about breaking chains and building a future, really letting go of all the things that, are tying you down, all these things that are holding you in place, because whilst you're held in place, you can't really be building your future. So there's a lot about taking full responsibility and accountability, and really, owning where you are. These forecasts are created using a whole sign Western tropical model. And so these are really aimed at your ascendant sign or your rising sign. If you don't know your ascendant, however, and you are an Aries sun, feel free to listen in. I have people feeding back and saying that their sun sign works and their ascendant sign works. Now, if you are somebody who follows a Placidus model when you're looking at your astrology, you might also find it helpful to listen into the Taurus forecast soon, because in your Placidus birth chart, you'll have both Aries and Taurus in your first house. So anyway, my recommendation is to listen to this and to Taurus straight after if you're a Placidus user. My name's Louisa Tanner Munson, by the way, just in case you are brand new here. Anyway, let's get started. Let's have a look and see what's coming up. So what I've got here is I've got 2 charts that I want to look at. Now, if I just go, so I've got the new moon in Cancer chart. This is the new moon in Cancer. You'll see the new moon in Cancer down here is in your 4th house, this 4th area of your chart, which is very much about the home, your security, your family, how stable you're feeling. It's a really, really private part of your chart. It's a place where you can fully relax and unwind. And so having the new moon here, and the fact that the new moon is in a conjunction with Jupiter that's just newly changed signs, I think is pretty important. The new moon is always an indication of where there's a feeling of change and growth about to come up in that particular area of your life. The Cancer energy is also very much attuned to the idea of homeliness and parenthood, and looking after the people around you, like really looking after your home and what that represents to you. So this new moon, I think, is really starting off your 2-week waxing moon cycle, and it's encouraging you to make changes at home in a way that's going to help you feel much better about yourself. It's something that's going to help to create a little bit more safety for yourself, a little bit more security, a little bit more yumminess. This is about being nourishing. This isn't about working your backside off and then like crashing into bed at the end of the day. This is about getting your life really working for you at a fundamental level. So this new moon is representing a really strong new start for you. Jupiter here in the 4th house is also emphasizing that it's time to expand your understanding of the home and maybe spend a bit more time at home as well. This is great. I mean, there may well be more people coming into your home and you might be using it in a different way. Everything that is coming up with that is going to be sort of mirrored, or sorry, echoed throughout this 2 weeks. You know, whatever it is that you're really wanting to start with is just going to keep coming up again and again and again. Now, if we go to the full moon in Capricorn, you'll see that, if I just go back because it looks so different, but the moon, all these planets are moving. In particular, you'll notice that Mercury, the Sun, Mars, and also Venus really, really moves. But the one that shifts the most is the moon, and it's going from 3 degrees, 4 degrees in the sign of Cancer, right the way round to 18 degrees in the sign of Capricorn. So the full moon is going to be in your 10th house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right the way through to the 10th house. Now, the 10th house is about your career and your outward exterior, your legacy, the destiny, the direction you're going in. And so from the start of this 2-week process right until the end, you're creating stability at home, so that you can reach further in your career. So it's really about home and also away, private and public. You know, so I really think all the things you can create for yourself in terms of safety and rootedness are going to help you, because obviously if you're rooted, like if a tree has great roots and a lot of aeration, a lot of nutrition, nourishment, etc., then that tree is going to grow, and it's going to be able to spread out high but also wide, you know, without getting knocked off course. This is a really public place where the full moon is going to be. I have to say, when the full moon, you know, the full moon actually raises people's energies and their emotions. And so when the full moon is in a really public place, I'm always very sort of, you know, I advise people to be really cautious if they're doing something with a high level of openness, you know, not to go drinking if they're in a mood, you know, around the time of the full moon, because, you know, you'll get caught out in some way, you'll be seen, you'll be found. You know, this is a time to like put your best foot forwards, and to be concerning yourself with how you are looking, to concern yourself with how you look from the outside in, you know, like if other people are looking at you, you know, authority figures, bosses, people that might give you a promotion are in this part of your chart, and they'll be seeing you when you're emotionally vulnerable at the time of the full moon. So leading up to that, I really recommend that you get yourself into an emotional equilibrium before you step out of the house or make any big changes. Now, if you're really cool with yourself, the full moon will really illuminate all the possibilities and be quite helpful. So, you know, pick your side, pick which way you want to use this amazing sort of moon energy. It is in the right place to lift you up. So, you know, create your strategy using, I would say, a lot of discernment, because it's in the sign of Capricorn, and be slightly more traditional, possibly a bit more conservative in the way that you are around the time of the full moon. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things that are going on in this 2-week period, and I want to give each of them a really good, you know, I really want to sort of ground them into this reading. You know, Mercury going into Leo is interesting. So Mercury is currently at the start of this forecast in the sign of Cancer. He's been at home. He's been helping you to facilitate conversations with the people you live with, and also to think, maybe redesign the way you're going to live. He's making these really great connections with Saturn and Neptune in your first house, which I think are going to help you link your identity and your home a lot more effectively, you know, so that your home really feels right for who you're being right now. You know, so often when we are designing our home, or we buy a new home or rent a house and we decorate a house, we're decorating it for that person that we believe ourselves to be in that moment. But you know, with Saturn and Neptune in this first house area right now, and having had Chiron going through here, I imagine that you've really changed quite a bit already since the beginning of this year. And so your home needs to reflect who you're being right now. But Mercury is going into the sign of Leo. Like I said, he's making these great relationships to Saturn and Neptune. And he's also making this amazing sextile to Uranus, which is really bringing on this sense of being able to, I don't want to say see the future, but you're catching waves, you're catching ideas. It's almost like you're like dialing up and into divinity. So I think that's quite helpful. But as Mercury comes into this part of your chart, and I'm just going to flip over so you can see where he is. He comes into this part, and by the end of this forecast period, he's right in the middle of it. But this part of the chart is all about your ability to create, your ability to talk and enjoy and spend time in your creations. It can be a time when you get to do a lot of things with your hands with a lot of accuracy. They can be really visual things. They can be things that enhance your sense of possibilities. Like this is a place, a smorgasbord of creative energy. Now, as Mercury is coming in here, he's also going to be making quite a strong opposition to Pluto. And I really think that is worth bearing in mind. Around the 29th, you might be a little bit abrupt, and you might find other people are a little bit abrupt in the way they're communicating. Really, when this comes up, it's alerting you that you probably do want to work on your own right at this moment, and not so much with other people, whereby you feel like their levels of control and influence are detrimental to your feelings of freedom and opportunity to do what you do best. So, Mercury here is really a free agent. This can be a place where new romance shows up as well. So it's interesting that Mercury's coming into this part of your chart. Then as we go through this 2-week process, there's a little bit of a gap. There's not much going on astrologically between the 30th of June and the 3rd of July. But then on the 4th, boy, oh boy, does it start heating up. So you'll see here, if I just go back, that at the start of this fortnight, Venus and Uranus are both in the sign of Taurus in the second house. And, Uranus has been here since 2018. He's been changing the way you view money and your resources, and making you a bit more daring. And then Venus has been here for a little while now, and she is helping you accumulate more and attract more money. She's also helping you feel a bit more comfortable being yourself, and also comfortable receiving, just being in receivership, like receiving goodness in her life. Now on the 4th, Venus has moved right up into a conjunction with Uranus. And this is a very, I think, stunning energetic. These two are coming together, and there is this feeling of optimism and luck and flow with a new change. There is this sort of, I think, an electric feeling. And there could be new people coming into your world. Venus also represents other people. So there could be a new love interest, this feeling of excitement because of something you're connecting in with, maybe another person. And then straight after, Venus actually goes into the 3rd house, into the sign of Gemini, which absolutely does bring in the ideas of other people coming in. On this day, Neptune's also going retrograde. I'll talk about that at the end. But over this period, Uranus is also just coming into the sign of Gemini. So by the time we get to the full moon in Capricorn, you'll see they're both here. Now, what's, I think, quite exciting about this is Venus, throughout this time period, she is coming into this conjunction and then leaving this conjunction with Uranus. She's almost always in this conjunction. And this is really bringing in this sense of freedom and lightness around change and around new people. But as she is coming into the 3rd and Uranus comes into the 3rd, there's this new excitement about your localities, this new excitement about what your community can bring you, also what you might bring it. There is definitely a feeling of speaking up on social things. Uranus in the 3rd is a real sort of philanthropic, volunteer kind of person. And so it's bringing in a feeling of, I think, brotherhood and sisterhood within your community and within the collective. It is a time when you may well feel like you're coming together. Now, seeing as Uranus also rules the friendship house, the 11th house, which has a lot to do with friends of friends and networks, I think you're going to feel very, very supported here. And this could be bringing in a highly social time. Uranus is going to be here for a long time. And during that time, he's going to be really changing the kinds of friends and the kinds of things that you do in your life. And also how you feel within your own locality, within your community. It's quite possible that your online community might also become a lot more familiar to you. So this is going to bring up a lot of new energy. Venus, but during this time, is also making connections to Saturn and Neptune and to Pluto and obviously to Uranus. So, not only at the beginning of this time when we had Mercury connecting to Pluto, Saturn, Neptune and Uranus, but we've also got Venus doing that at the end. So, in this 2 weeks, the first part is really about the thought, the Mercury attributes. What are you thinking about? What kinds of things are you doing with this information? And the second part is very much about the energy of companionship and connecting and all that jazz, really. So my last thoughts then about this 2-week period and how you might be using this to take more ownership and to sort of be fully in your responsibility, be fully accountable. I really see that these movements right now, in particular Saturn and Neptune, I mean, they've been in this first house for quite some time now together. They've been working together for a long time. During this time, you're really building foundations for your own brighter future. Saturn coming into your first house is absolutely about you revitalizing your own identity. This is about strengthening your identity, remodeling. You might be working on your body a lot more than usual. It's a time when you're also acutely aware of aging. And so Neptune here as well is really bringing in this need for a spiritual alignment in your full work. Now, the last thing I said I was going to mention was Neptune going retrograde. He's going retrograde on the 4th, and he's going to be going back into the sign of Pisces. Not just yet, but, he will go back. And he won't start coming forwards until December, by which time he's definitely back in the sign of Pisces. But he is there to really help you reflect even deeper than before, in particular on how to integrate the spiritual energy that you do feel and you are aware of, and how to get it working in your life. It's like you've moved forwards a little bit, and you've sort of tested it out. You've almost created a new prototype personality for yourself that is including a lot more spirituality, a lot more ideology, and a lot more intuitive awareness. And yet there's a missing piece. It's almost like, as Neptune is going retrograde, he's taking you back into the vastness of your unconscious mind in the 12th house. So this is a time where you're going to get to see all your old patterns of escapism and self-sabotage and how you might want to deal with those directly. So a really fascinating time where you really are taking on yourself. As we come up to the full moon right at the end, one of the key themes here, if you see, there's the full moon is in a T-square with Chiron. And, this is Chiron in your first house, in your sign. This is absolutely highlighting your need to heal your emotions and also your body. Get really, really clear on how your emotions maybe are causing problems in your body, and how you might move beyond those. So this is I think a real time of revelation for you, and of course what comes from this moment, this full moon in Capricorn, is going to I think determine how much you thrive in the future. If you are able to see where your emotions are playing into the physical elements that you've got, and you're sort of taking ownership for where your emotionalism might be taking you, I think you'll have a really fantastic opportunity to kind of clear out all of those things that you're now obvious about. Again, this fits in with Neptune retrograde, because that's going to be revealing all your obscure truths and self-sabotages. It will make it so obvious to you that you can no longer ignore it. The next new moon after this, around, the late dates in July, that's going to be in the sign of Leo, and it's going to be in a place of romance, new starts, a sense of new passion. So whatever is going on in this 2 weeks ahead, I really think is the grand clear out. This is a time of radical change. I really believe that. And I think the more you're clearing out, the easier things are going to be. My final thought, and this is just something I saw on Instagram and a friend sort of brought it to my attention. There's a lot of protests going on right now. There's a lot of people that are upset, and there's lots of things that you might choose to be upset about as well. I think where we're going, in releasing the things that aren't working for us, so that we can be fully in our accountability, these energies are, I think, helpful to. These energies are helping us to come into a time of joy. And so the words I want to share with you is: joy is your protest, living fully is your power, even now, especially now. And that came from Moon Body Spirit on Instagram. So if you can If you are wanting to protest in any way, shape, or form right now, let it be coming from joy. Let it be coming from you living fully in your power. Let it be from you opening up to what is making you feel magnificent. So I'm going to leave that there. I hope that was helpful for you. I've already recorded a love forecast and also a financial forecast. These are the things that my members get. I work really hard in my membership. So if you would like a fortnightly relationship and connections forecast, a fortnightly career and ambition forecast, there's actually 2 complimentary hangouts each month. I need to change that. And loads of other things. Then just get in touch. All of my details for the membership are below. Some of the community hangouts we've had so far, we've been looking at patterns in our birth chart, the shapes of those patterns and what they mean, transactional analysis in astrology. So looking at our psychological energies and how they are affecting us in particular with parent, adult and child and our mum and our dad. We've also had a really good look at Saturn in Aries, Jupiter in Cancer, Venus retrograde and the star point. We've also got full moon ceremonies. In fact, we've got a new moon ceremony tonight. Coming soon, we're going to be working with Uranus. We're also going to be working with the dwarf planets and outer planets, and also examining generation gaps. So there's lots going on. It's a place to connect. And if that's for you, all my details are below. But anyway, have a fantastic time in this 2 weeks ahead. Hope it goes nice and smoothly for you. Lots of love to you from me in Portugal. Lots of love. Bye for now.